guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to focus more on talking about conferences. You must have probably watched my previous vlog on a conference that I attended, but today I'll give you a little bits and bobs about conferencing and why it's so crucial in a PhD journey. So let's go. Make sure to subscribe, make sure you're following my different social media pages. Let's go. To this, why do you want to go for a conference? Usually when I tell my family or my friends I'm going to a conference, the first reaction I get from people is that, oh, it's so fancy, you're enjoying life. And I'm like, no, it's not enjoyment, it's actually more work than if I was stationed at the university getting work done. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to break this in before the conference and during the conference and after the conference. So before the conference, for some conferences, like the typical one I showed, was on campus. But the fact that it's on campus within my department doesn't mean it makes it any easier, because weeks before that conference, loads of emails had been sent out asking requirements, whether you want to present a poster, whether you want to attend a workshop within the conference, whether you want to present. And you have to prepare for all of that. Doing a poster takes a lot of time. I personally find doing posters time consuming. I'd rather do a presentation and get away with it, whether it's a 3-minute presentation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. I'll prefer to do that. And then whilst you're preparing the material you want to share with your audience, you have to be sending it to your supervisor, because it's not just only your name on the presentation. You are representing not just yourself, you're representing your supervisors, you're representing your university. So all that work comes into play. This just focuses on your research. If your conference is out of town, out of the country, you have to start looking into visa applications. You have to start looking into airfares. And then who is going to pay for all of this? Who is going to pay for all of this? For some universities, they will cover the cost required with conferences. For some of them, you have to come up with your own money. For some conferences, they will actually pay to have PhD students come and present. So you are responsible. Your supervisor will not be doing this legwork for you. You will have to do all of that by yourself. So once you get your poster ready, your presentation ready, you also have to start presenting to yourself, because in as much as you know the research and you did the work, you have to consider what audience you're going to meet. Is it people in your field, a specialist audience, or is it going to be a very generic audience where you cannot go specific, but they still need to understand what it is you're presenting? So all of that needs to be considered. So personally for me, I've gone for numerous conferences knowing that audience still comes into play. So that's what I mean by before the conference preparation. That can take time because you're preparing for a conference, but your PhD still needs to be done. Let's talk about at the conference. So the vlog I had earlier on gives you an indication of all the things happening in the conference. Usually before you get to the conference, already there will be a program guideline that is out. For me, what I do is I go through the program guideline and I choose things I'm interested in. If they have multiple talks going on, I start to choose which ones I want to go to. I don't wait till I get to the conference to do that, because then I realize that I'm not well prepared. And then once I choose those talks I want to go to, or the activities, workshops I want to get involved in, it's just following through. And usually when you go to a conference, you are usually at the conference from as early as 8 during registration till evening at 5. And some conferences will also have socials after 5, which for a PhD student, I tend to go for those socials, because in as much as it's a social, in as much as it's a planned social, I feel like it's essential, because that's one way to network. You'll be networking with people during the conference, but also to further build on that relationship during those socials is essential. So that's what happens in a conference. And then during the conferences, so especially if you're in a talk, if you're going for posters, going for a workshop, this is the time for you to ask questions. For me, it's helped me a lot, because I was able to pick up techniques, testing, looking at different ways of analyzing my own data when I went back to university. So I feel like sometimes it cuts some of your work down, and if you're not sure of a technique or testing or some analysis someone did, just walk up to them, introduce yourself, and tell them, hey, you saw ABCD in their presentation, in their poster, and you're planning to do something similar with your own work. If they could help you, sometimes they'll give you their contact information, and then it makes your work easier, as opposed to me sitting on my desk at the university and trying to get things figured out by myself. So it makes your life easy. What else? And then after the conference, I'm going to try to keep this really short. After the conference too, you just don't, like, you get back from university, it's a good opportunity, because some, like I said earlier, some conferences will require you to do an abstract, will require you to do a paper. And for me, going back means reporting back to my supervisor what happened, especially if I went for that conference without him, what happened, giving him feedback, and discussing that whole conference experience with him. And then for me, it means also going back to those notes I took, the lessons I learned, and then applying them to my work. So in general, that's what will happen in the conference. It takes a lot of work, but I feel like it's a very, very good opportunity for PhD students today. The benefits of attending a conference as a PhD student. So the first one I'm going to say is that, one, you get to meet either fellow PhD students who are in your field, as well as experts, academic staff around the world who are doing new research. Some of them you might have been quoting or reading their papers online. So to see them and have a dialogue or look at the current research they're doing is very, very essential to you as a PhD student. Also, you'll meet other professionals within that field, or also outside of the field, but probably are using certain techniques that you are using applicable to yours. I have this on my phone, so I'm just going to be reading off from it. So it gives you the opportunity to dialogue with these people. It won't just be having a journal article of them that you are listening to, that you are following. You actually have that expert at that conference that you can have that dialogue with. From my experiences in attending conferences, people are generally very friendly. They will answer your questions. I've not had an issue where someone was really mean or didn't want to be helpful. I've never had that. It also gives you the opportunity, like I said, you're asking people questions, which is saving you a lot of leg room where you are always reading. If I can have the expert to tell me what I'm looking for, I don't need to do that much reading. My reading can be more focused and I can get right into it. Also, you're going to find out new techniques that it's being used, which I mentioned earlier on. You might not know that, okay, this software could do that. Normally you pick that up from workshops. So even if you go for a conference and you're presenting, there's a workshop and you feel like, I don't want to do this, sometimes just throw yourself in, go there, keep an open mind, have a teachable spirit, and go in. You will definitely learn something that you can eventually use or that you didn't know. Also, you also get practical advice. So some of these researchers have been in their field for centuries, and not centuries, maybe, I don't know, have been in their field for a long time, so they can give you advice that you might not have really considered. It could be just academic advice, it could be research advice that will help you. For me, some of them have been very, very motivating. Some of them have been very, very motivating and helped me, because sometimes all you need is that little push through this PhD journey. So having someone who is giving you that, I think, free advice, hey, take it. And then also overcoming your fear. So presenting is not something that comes easy to everyone, and going out, presenting your work, or having a poster is one way of building that, or of building your confidence to overcome that fear of speaking in public, because as an academic, that's one thing you always have to continuously be doing. So for me, before I get into any conference, I've probably be in my flat, in my apartment, where I continuously practice what it is that I'm going to say. I also anticipate all type of questions that will arise and how I will answer them. And then once I go in there, I've already started building my confidence. I'm not now trying to figure out what I'm going to say. I know what I want to say. And then if a question comes that I don't understand, I say, I don't understand. I haven't thought about it in this way. This is not in the scope of the research I was trying to do, and then I just keep moving it. So usually when I tell people I'm going to conference, people think, oh, you're enjoying and stuff, but what you don't realize is the only time I get to see maybe that beautiful hotel room is when I come back at night, and most nights I am so tired I go straight to bed, which is, I think, good because being in that environment where you are probably stressed out, working 8 to 5, learning, meeting people you don't know, having that bed or that hotel room to sleep on helps. From the moment I step into that country or that city till I have to return, my whole day is planned. So sometimes you don't really get the opportunity to see the town unless those socials. So when I went for my South Africa workshop, some of the socials that we had was to go to a game reserve. So that helps. You get to see town. And then there was a little bus tour, and then a little bit of Scottish history that we learned. So that was really nice, but it's very different from me buying a ticket to say, hey, I'm going to Paris, I'm going to like just be chilling. No, you're not going to be just chilling looking at the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower will be there and you have a job to do. So that's it about conferencing. I'm going to end it here, keep it short. Please subscribe to my channel, follow me on my social media handles, and I will try to put as much content out. My end this year.